The Yoga Pro 9i16 is targeted at creatives that demand the very best and are happy to pay for this. To tempt them, Lenovo have included a sumptuous mini LED display, a 6-speaker system, top Intel processors, and NVIDIA RTX 40 series graphics. Is it enough to part with your hard-earned cash? Let's find out. Starting at 2.23 kilograms or 4.92 pounds, the Yoga Pro 9i test unit comes in storm grey or the optional tidal teal colour. It's made with aluminium stamping, anodized with sandblasting. It's a heavy laptop, not one to move away from your desk too often. To compare, it's similar in size and weight to the Apple MacBook Pro 16 M.2 Max. Military standard 810H certification passed. The keyboard deck is sturdy with minimum flexing. The same could be said with the display lid, offering good protection of the mini LED screen. There is a question mark over the flimsy base plate emitting creaky noises when handled. Considering this is a premium priced laptop, it's disappointing. Talking of which, the base plate has large rubber feet to aid in sucking in cold air into the 9i for better thermals. The Pro 9i has round corners, giving it a somewhat narrow and slim look despite its bulky numbers. Aesthetically, it looks modern and stylish, giving it street cred when taking it out of your laptop bag. Quick word on the 9i's green credentials, offering recycled materials throughout. The Yoga uses 50% post-consumer recycled plastic in the keyboard and 50% recycled aluminium in the bottom cover. Here's a list of what has been used. To remove the bottom cover, undo the 8 screws and carefully pry open with a plastic tool. Sadly, the LPDDR5X 6400 memory is soldered to the system board in dual channel mode. Tip: get the minimum 32GB for power user, up to a maximum of 64GB at time of purchase. Thankfully, there are 2 M.2 slots, one M.2 2280 PCIe 3x4 slot and one faster PCIe 4x4 slot. The 75Wh battery is removable, but the WLAN card is soldered on. This review model has a 16-inch 3.2K 3200x2000 mini LED display technology, offering very small LED units divided into 1536 zones, which allows more precise control of backlighting. In layman terms, better contrast, deeper blacks, and more vibrant colours, without the OLED potential drawback of burn-in. The display is a joy to use with crisp, sharp text and images to high colour accuracy for professional work. Lenovo have thrown the rest of the kitchen sink at the screen. 100% DCI P3, 100% Adobe RGB, 100% sRGB, nearly 600 nits brightness in SDR, and up to 1200 nits in HDR mode, making it exceptionally bright in various lighting conditions. There's a long list of certifications including iSafe Certified 2.0, Dolby Vision, and Vesta Display HDR 1000. The display is a glossy glass panel, so there will be a downside of being very reflective near a bright sunny window or strong indoor office lighting. Motion fidelity is excellent thanks to the 165Hz refresh rate. This is controlled by pressing the function and R keys to change the refresh rate between 60Hz, auto, and 165Hz. Great for a spot of gaming after hours. There's a camera bump at the top of the display lid housing the webcam and sensors. It helps one-handed opening of the display, and the maximum opening angle is 180 degrees. On the left we have a power connector, one USB-A 3.2 Gen 1 5GB per second, HDMI 1.4B up to 4K 30Hz, one Thunderbolt 4 USB-C 3.2 Gen 1 DisplayPort power delivery 3.0, and headphone microphone combo jack 3.5mm. On the right we have one USB-A 3.2 Gen 1 5GB per second always on, full-size SD card reader 3.0, power button, and an e-shutter switch. Wireless connectivity is taken care of with the Intel Wi-Fi 6E 802.11ax 2x2 and Bluetooth 5.3 M.2 combo card. During testing, the Wi-Fi connection was strong through a couple of rooms. The Bluetooth connection was reliable to external mouse or headset. The slightly concave 0.3mm keycaps are comfortable and tactile to type on the 9i, helped by the generous 1.5mm key travel. Touch typists will be at home with this keyboard, giving an accurate and rapid typing action for long documents. 2-level backlighting and an auto sensor is available, useful for darker nights and late evening email catch-ups. My only minor gripe is the small enter key, leading to accidentally hitting the hash key next to it instead. Plus the keypad numeric keys are 2/3 smaller than the main keys. The buttonless glass surface multi-touch touchpad supports Microsoft Precision drivers. It's generously large in dimensions, similar to its rival the MacBook Pro, but slightly smaller than the gargantuan Razer Blade 16 touchpad. Finger gliding is smooth and crisp. The integrated mouse buttons work well, but could do with being dampened a bit to reduce excess clicky noise. The 6 stereo speakers are rated at 10 watts, 4 times 2 watts woofers, and 2 times 1 watt tweeters. The sound system is optimized with Dolby Atmos and a smart amplifier AMP. No matter what type of music genre you throw at it, sound from the speakers are wonderfully balanced with warmth and clarity of the vocals. There's plenty of bass and crisp fidelity at the high end, one of the best laptop audio systems on the market. Here are some audio samples. The 5-megapixel 1440p webcam has IR hybrid and TOF sensors around it, along with an electronic camera shutter slider switch for privacy. There's also a quad microphone array to pick up your voice or your team during a Zoom or Teams meeting. Video quality on this webcam is very good, with decent color reproduction and crisp images in good lighting conditions. Naturally, it fades away with poor lighting environments. This review model has an Intel Core i7-13705H based on the Raptor Lake architecture. 14 cores with 6 performance cores ranging from 2.4 to 5 GHz, 8 efficient cores ranging from 1.8 to 3.7 GHz, a total of 20 threads. Processor base power is 45 watts with a maximum of 115 watts turbo power, similar to its sibling the i7-13700H without vPro, along with 16GB soldered LP DDR5X 6400 MHz memory and a 1TB SSD M.2 2280 PCIe Gen4 TLC storage drive. The Yoga Pro 9i powers through most productivity or gaming tasks with ease. It will handle Adobe Photoshop editing, 4K video editing in Premiere Pro, or compiling code in Visual Studio thanks to the CPU and RTX 4060. For our performance test, we set it to best performance mode in Windows and plugged in the laptop into the mainstream testing. Here are the benchmarking results for the Yoga Pro 9i Gen 8 NVIDIA RTX 4060. Here is a comparison with the ThinkBook 16P Gen 4 laptop. The Intel Core i7-13705H is a high-end processor that sits in parallel to the AMD Ryzen 9 7940HS and behind the newer Intel Core i7-14700HX in general benchmarking scores. Plugged in balance mode idle, CPU temperature is 42 Celsius. CPU clock speed is around 1.5 to 1.9 GHz on E cores, 1.6 to 3 GHz on the P cores, and CPU power is 8 to 9 watts. Fans stay virtually silent at 34.4 decibels. The center of the keyboard deck is 28.5 Celsius and by the vents 29 Celsius. Plugged in, balance mode, video playback. CPU temperature is 49 Celsius. CPU clock speed is around 2 to 4 GHz on the P cores, 1.6 to 2.8 GHz on the E cores, and CPU power is around 10 to 20 watts on average. Fans do come on constantly, but a quiet humming noise around 37 decibels. The chassis temperature is around 30.8 Celsius by the top vents and center of the keyboard. Other words, slightly warm to the touch. Plugged in, extreme performance running Blender benchmarking. CPU temperature hits 99 Celsius. CPU clock speed is around 4.41 GHz on the P cores and 3.4 GHz on the E cores, and CPU power is around 105 watts. The fans soon spin up to 60 decibels, loud in terms of noise levels. Vent temperatures get up to 32.8 Celsius and 32.5 Celsius around the center of the keyboard. On battery mode, balance mode, video playback, CPU temperature is 47 Celsius. CPU clock speed is around 1.6 to 3 GHz on the P cores, 1 to 2 GHz on the E cores, and CPU power is around 12 to 15 watts on average. Fans do come on constantly, but at a quiet humming noise around 36.3 decibels. The chassis temperature is around 31 Celsius by the top vents and 30.6 Celsius at the center of the keyboard. Comfortable to the touch. On battery mode, balance mode, or intelligent cooling, typing on Google Docs, CPU temperature is 45 Celsius. CPU clock speed is around 2 to 3 GHz on the P cores to 1.5 to 2 GHz on the E cores. CPU power is around 9 watts. The fans spin quietly throughout at 36.3 decibels. Chassis temperature is 30 Celsius at the vents and keyboard deck. On battery mode, extreme performance running Blender benchmarking. CPU temperature hits 83 Celsius. CPU clock speed is around 4 GHz on the P cores and 3 GHz on the E cores. CPU power is around 80 watts. The fans spin up within seconds to 52.4 decibels and temperatures hit 32 Celsius at the vents vents, and 31 Celsius at the keyboard deck. The Intel Iris Xe Graphics G7 Tiger Lake U GPU with 96 EUs is an integrated graphics card with 8GB shared GPU memory. The GPU clocks with a base clock speed guarantee of 400 MHz in all CPUs and can boost up to 1340 MHz. Also inside is a dedicated NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4060 laptop GPU with 8GB of GDDR6 memory. The GPU has a maximum TGP of 100 watts running at a max of 2370 MHz, somewhat limited compared to the proper gaming laptop. Advanced Optimus OTA Dynamic Boost 2.0 is present on the 4060. The RTX 4060 sits between a mobile RTX 3070 and a mobile RTX 3070 Ti in general GPU benchmarking scores. The RTX 4060 will handle most AAA games with ease in high setting. Less demanding games can easily run in QHD. Here are some gaming samples. The Yoga Pro 9i is targeted at extreme power users who work with creative workflows, gaming, graphics work, coding, and STEM tasks. The Yoga Pro 9i has a few security features to keep your data secure. There's no fingerprint reader, but an IR camera for Windows Hello facial recognition, an e-shutter for the webcam, and a firmware TPM 2.0 security encryption chip. Inside is an integrated 75 watt-hour battery, running the PC Mark X Office benchmark tests constantly in balance mode, 60Hz, 40% brightness. Battery life was 2.5 hours. Running video playback in balance mode, 60Hz, 40% brightness. Battery life was just under 7.5 hours. Under heavy load, expect less than an hour of battery life. The 9i comes with a 170 watt slim tip AC adapter. It supports Rapid Charge Pro, charging up to 50% in 30 minutes. The good, the bad, and the really bad. Mini LED marvel. The display has an extremely bright mini LED panel with Adobe RGB and 100% DCI-P3 color accuracy, so no surprise it has excellent image quality, deep blacks and vibrant colors throughout. Only downside is it can get very reflective. Great performance. The combination of the i7-13705H and RTX 4060 gives excellent performance from the i9, blasting through most workflows with ease. If you need more power, go for the i9-13905H and RTX 4070 model. Awesome audio. The 6-speaker sound system on the 9i is one of the best on the market, slightly better than its cousin I reviewed a few months back, the Yoga Slim 7 Gen 8, with a similar setup. It can easily fill a small room with exceptional audio fidelity. Gaming noise. Talking of sound, the dual fans spin up fast and loud when you're compiling code, for example, or hardcore gaming, similar to a workstation. The plus side is that temperatures stay fairly cool all the time, even when taxed hard. 1 TB4. No excuses for a pricey and bulky laptop that there's only one Thunderbolt 4 port, especially as this is aimed at content creators. The newer Gen 9 model has 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports. Slow HDMI. Another cost-cutting exercise from Lenovo is HDMI 1.4b, when HDMI 2.1 with higher display bandwidth should have been used on this premium laptop. Soldered RAM. For a heavy and bulky laptop, it's disappointing that the Lenovo engineers didn't fit SODIMM slots for upgradable memory modules. This review model has 16GB of LPDDR5 memory, but for a powerful device, it can't be upgraded in the future. Poor battery life. No surprise for powerful components including the energy-sapping mini LED display panel, that battery life is very poor overall, and definitely a weak point, especially when you compare it to its fierce rival, the Apple MacBook Pro 16 with superior battery life and similar mini LED screen. Note, the Gen 9 model has a larger 84 watt-hour battery. If you were in the market for a flagship 16-inch laptop, what other laptops would you be looking at? In no particular order, here's some to consider. Apple MacBook Pro 16, Asus ProArt StudioBook 16 OLED H7604, MSI Stealth 16 Studio A13 VG, Razer Blade 16 2024, Dell XPS 16 2024, HP Omen Transcend 16 2024, HP ZBook Studio G11 16-inch. The Yoga Pro 9i Gen 8 is Lenovo's flagship creative multimedia powerhouse, combining high-end power in the i7-13705H CPU and the NVIDIA RTX 4060, along with a stunning 3.2K display offering the latest eye-popping mini LED technology, extra bright screen and color accurate for professional work and after-hours gaming. The 9i can slice through most workflows with ease, helped by the excellent keyboard and large touchpad. The 6-speaker audio system is one of the best out there, covering low and high notes with plenty of bass. The laptop stays cool and silent running most of the time, unless you start taxing it with heavy workloads or gaming. The dual fans spin up loudly, but at least the chassis stays cool throughout. The bottom plate could be a tad stronger and thicker to stop the creaking noise when holding the sides of the laptop. Another Thunderbolt 4 would have not gone amiss. Possible deal breaker is the dismal battery life, not helped by the mini LED panel and high-end components. Another weakness is a soldered-on memory, but most Windows and Apple users are getting used to this awful practice. For those who have done their research, the Yoga Pro 9i Gen 9 is already out, but it allowed me to pick up this beauty for £1,072 or $1,356 before taxes, around £500 cheaper than the equivalent Gen 9 model. At this price tag, I would consider it a steal for last year's flagship laptop. What do you guys think? Leave your comments and discuss below. Hope you guys enjoyed the review of the Lenovo Yoga Pro 9i Gen 8 laptop. Please click on the like button if you enjoyed this review video and subscribe if you would like to watch more of our tech videos. Thanks for watching. Cheers.